Hey, welcome back to this mini lecture. This one is on listening tips. This is a quote from G.K. Chesterton. There's no such thing as an uninteresting subject. There are only uninterested people. Again, this sort of seems to focus on the person who's receiving the knowledge in terms of showing how important they are as opposed to the subject themselves. Here are a number of habits of good listeners. They listen between the lines. It turns out they anticipate what's next and what connects various issues. They take detailed notes. Here they fill in the blanks and whatever is being said, and they add extensions that go beyond what's being said. They see the lecture like a chapter and part of a longer story. When you see it only as a discrete unit, it doesn't fit within your broader experience and the broader narrative of life. They judge the content, not the delivery. The content is most important. Some things good listeners do not do is they interrupt mid-explanation with questions. Oftentimes these questions can be answered by the speaker themselves. They believe that delivery is more important than content. Always think about the content. Sometimes delivery can be subpar, but you want to find out what you can get from the content. They do not avoid difficult explanations. Difficult explanations can help push you to understand things that are initially beyond your abilities, but you'll grow. They do not dismiss content as uninteresting. Again, going back to the Chesterton quote, it's not so much the person or the subject, it's more yourself. And they do not show patience. Oftentimes, complex topics take a while to understand. Here are some tips. You want to make sure that you screen out any distractions when you're listening, if possible. Sometimes I know if you're in a public place, you can't. Try to minimize background noise. Try to disregard any mistakes or accents. Sometimes you have to lean in a little bit more to understand when people speak with a different language or use different accents than you're used to. You want to try to avoid noticing any habits that the speaker might have, and try to disregard those, and try to avoid any daydreaming. You want to organize the information and main ideas and supporting details so that you get both a macro and a micro view of what's being said. You want to avoid hasty judgments. Oftentimes, we might dislike something that the speaker says, and that can pull us away from the main ideas. And when you want to maintain neutrality and objectivity, not become overly emotional. Emotions I find help me judge something, but you don't want them to overwhelm you when you're trying to understand something. Another tip is to maintain alertness. You want to establish eye contact with the speaker if possible to sort of have a connection so that you're alert. You want to consistently ask yourself, how does the content connect to me? And find areas of interest, even if you find something initially uninteresting. You want to listen for the central ideas and not just miscellaneous facts. You want to get what the main point is and then sort of fill that in with minor details. You want to ensure that you write down the main ideas so you get the big propulsive thrust of what's being said. And you want to exercise your mind with difficult material. Don't just go listen to and watch the simplest things. There's a real benefit in going beyond what you normally read and listen to. You want to listen actively. When you do this, you want to try to summarize the content in your own words. This helps to reframe it. You want to analyze any ideas into their individual parts. You want to predict what the speaker will say or implications, so you're active within what they're saying. And you want to think about any implications that they may have. Again, that'll connect more to your life. You want to mentally review what was previously said in the lecture so that you kind of fit everything into one longer coherent narrative. You want to apply any content to your own experience and learning so that it appeals to you and you can connect to it. You want to select the most important ideas. This really helps if you have a really long lecture and there's so much going on, you can get lost in the minutiae, and it's better to make sure that you get the overall biggest important idea. And again, you want to try to ignore any distractions about the speaker, the venue, the sound, etc. Those were listening tips. Thanks again for watching. Take care.